What's up? Welcome back to another video. In this video, we're going to be covering UFC Fight Night taking place September 20th between a few different fights, specifically the main card. So the main event of this card is going to be Colby Covington against Tyron Woodley. But before that, the first fight of this main card is going to be between Kevin Holland. It's going to be between Kevin Holland and Darren Stewart. Listen, first of all, before we even get into the odds, I just want to say that these two guys have the best nicknames I think ever. The Trailblazer in Kevin Holland and the Dentist in Darren Stewart. I've gone to a few dentists in my lifetime, but I definitely, I'm naturally scared of dentists, but I feel like if I went to Darren Stewart, he'd be the dentist that mortifies me the most. But anyway, before I go any further, I just want to let you guys know that the odds, Kevin Holland is the favorite at -265. Darren Stewart is the underdog at +205. Now, Stewart has always interested me as a fighter because he's one of the few that's opened up about some of the problems that he's faced mentally, psychologically when stepping into the octagon. There was a period where he was on top of the world. He was fighting some of the best fighters. He was finishing fights. But then after, he just hit like a stop sign. He hit a speed bump where he just couldn't finish fights. He would do everything right. His coaches even said he'd do everything right. He just couldn't get the finish. He couldn't finish the fights. And so he talked about how he engaged and he went into he got into contact with a sports psychologist, and basically this sports psychologist helped his performance. The way he described it was that she helped bring what was in the back of his mind to the front so he could see it and deal with it. And then that's how he got the victories that he got leading up to this fight. So that was just really interesting to look at. The Dentist is a fighter that from a personal standpoint, I really admire. But having said this, I don't want to get biased. He's got a record of 12-5 in his professional career, and specifically a record of 5-4-1 in the UFC. He's coming into this fight with a submission win against a pretty worthy opponent in Maki Pitolo. And an interesting aspect in Darren Stewart's fight Darren Stewart. It's so easy, I can't say it. An interesting aspect in Darren Stewart's fight game is also the fact that he's an extremely hard hitter, and he likes to take the fight on the ground more than Kevin Holland does. Specifically, there's a statistic that says this. Stewart converts 1.32 takedowns per 15 minutes and achieves 43% of his total takedown attempts, which is a good statistic. His takedown defense is also high from some research that I've done. And overall, I think that he is going to be a worthy opponent that will pose a challenge against a fighter as good as Kevin Holland, despite the fact that he's in really good form. So, but why is Kevin Holland the clear favorite? When I see these two fighters and I look at their past records, I don't see, the odds are really, really split. I personally wouldn't have given these odds so disbalanced. But why could this be the case? First of all, he's in form, and when Kevin Holland is in form, you don't want to face an in-form Kevin Holland. He's got a record of 18 wins, 5 losses, and he's coming into this fight night fresh with 2 wins in 2020. So he is on an active streak. 2 fights in 2020. This is his third, and he won against both Anthony Hernandez and Joaquin Buckley, both via knockout, which again, ridiculous statistic. Holland is a fighter that would rather keep the fight standing, and you can see this also from his record. He's got a lot of knockout wins, and specifically he lands 4.65 significant strikes per 15 minutes with a 55% striking rate. And listen, when you hear a statistic like this, you can't help but argue that this guy is looking to finish people in that octagon. And that's what I'm going to be expecting against Stewart. And additionally, other than this statistic I just said, we can tell that of those 18 wins, pretty much half of them have come from knockout fashion, which again also shows that he is one that likes to keep the fight standing and would rather engage in standing combat in fists rather than engage in the ground. Personally, I don't see this fight going the distance. I see this fight finishing before the judges have to mess up and express their illogical opinions. I see these two fighters looking to make a statement, whether it is to come back from a losing streak and improve yourself, or whether it is to maintain that streak going. Both these fighters are really hard hitters and are willing to engage in a dogfight, so that we can expect. I see Kevin Holland coming on top of this one personally because of his latest form and also his fighting style in general. And again, I just think his hard striking and his constant pressure he's going to apply to a fighter like Darren Stewart will put him under pressure to the point where, it's just, he won't be able to take it. And that's how I think the fight is going to go. I think Kevin Holland is going to take this one home. I think he's in form. And again, you don't want to face an in-form Kevin Holland. But again, that's how I think the fight is going to go. I'm also interested to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below. And if you like this type of stuff, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I'm going to do the predictions for a lot of other fights coming up. Mackenzie Dern, Randa Marcos. And yeah, if you're interested in this type of stuff, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more predictions. And if you do subscribe and I see you guys in the next one, then I'll see you guys in the next one.